Yeah. Hello everyone.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome. I'm Cameron.
And I'm Fran.
And we're here today in Thailand in a beautiful kitchen, beautiful day, beautiful sisterhood. And today we're going to be making ceremonial cacao. We've got a fellow kitchen witch here.
Cacao witch,
earth magic witch.
And we're gonna be collaborating. You know that I love cacao, you know that Cameron loves to cook and bake and make all things delicious. So we thought what better than to pair these two together and make a ceremonial cacao recipe that we can inspire you with super wholesome ingredients.
Yes, so we're going to be pulling the recipe from my recently launched cookbook, Quest for Zest Thailand. It's full of all plant-based, gluten-free, healthy Thai food eats based on my time here and the traditional Thai menu. And we'll be doing the ceremonial cacao recipe. So with the cacao queen, Miss Fran, Miss Frankie.
And here we have it with some beautiful photos. I think we did these together as well.
We did do this one together. We had fun with this photo shoot as well. So it's such a treat today that we're here together making plant magic.
Our favorite drink, and I can't wait to drink it already afterwards.
Yeah, so we're gonna walk you step by step through the process of making the cacao. We're gonna talk some tips and tricks through the recipe, different things you can add to spice it up different ways, what the ingredients offer, and intentions brewing it, how it affects your health. We've got a lot of fun tips.
The first thing that's really important to know, because of course if you have Cameron's book, you have the recipe and other ingredients, but it's really important what type of cacao you actually buy to start with. So ceremonial cacao is quite different from just like store-bought chocolate or hot chocolate ingredients. Ceremonial essentially means that it is raw and cacao that goes through minimal processing. So a lot of the time it looks like a block, like this, and it can be like a paste or a block. Here it's already chopped up a little bit, and this means that the cacao has gone through only a small amount of processing after being harvested. It is just sun roasted, sun dried, and then fermented, and then made into a paste. So all of its amazing minerals and high quality ingredients remain intact and are inside this amazing
Smells delicious.
block.
It's not a Hershey's. It's no sweeteners, nothing. It's just the raw. So
it is quite bitter already in taste. And a lot of the time in ceremonies you can sweeten it, but sometimes even like the Mayans and the Aztecs would actually prefer to taste it like raw and pure. So it's really up to preference, but really good to start out with one that is wholesome, bitter, ceremonial, raw cacao.
And that's where you're going to get all the plant medicines that cacao offers, all the nutritional.
Yes, that's when you're going to have
value.
all of the antioxidants, the minerals, all of the vitamins inside. It releases serotonin, dopamine in our system, makes us feel really good, and of course opens the heart, which is the reason why we sit in ceremony with it, to connect to our hearts. And this is something we can already begin to tune into when we prepare our cacao, to feel into what effect it's going to have on us and what intention we have for when we are going to drink it.
Beautiful. So yeah, we're going to be using wholesome ingredients as we've just discussed. Our raw cacao block. We're going to also add a little bit of cacao powder. It comes in powder form, but again from wholesome organic cacao.
Yeah, this can be just organic, raw, and adds really nice texture when you mix together different kind of what's the word, like textures,
consistencies
and
yes
textures.
And I love the, like my cacao, you all cacaos are going to be different. Mine is very heavy and creamy, influenced from time in Bali. This is one of my favorites, like the super thick. So I
when
think
it's like dessert.
when it's like dessert,
Yes.
I'm a chocolate addict.
Yes. I'm with you.
Yes. So
start the day with chocolate, maybe a second cup.
Yes. So we're gonna add both the cacao powder and the cacao paste.
Yes, and we'll be making a more thick one, and that is, I think, the beauty in it. That anytime I've had cacao and tasted it from various different people or in different ceremonies, they've all been different. And it's so beautiful that it really can be like such a different flavor and experience depending on who makes it and how you make it. It's so versatile, and
the intentions infused as well. What you're going into ceremony for. And cacao is so beautiful because it can also be like a coffee or tea alternative, like to start your day waking up with cacao, have a really amazing happy day.
That is my mantra. That is how I start every morning. And it really does work. And this is, again, because of these like serotonin and dopamine receptors being activated that are the hormones responsible for making us feel good and responsible for giving us that sense of motivation and uplifting sensations. And where coffee would start to drive us up and then crash, cacao is more
Get
of
the shakes.
Yeah, we don't want that. And cacao is more of like a sustained feeling, more in the body, especially in the heart. There's a lot of magnesium inside that just gets the blood flowing. And so overall, it's a much more sustainable, wholesome way to start our day.
Yes, so start your day. You can also carry it through the afternoon. Today it's afternoon here joining, so like a tea time, but cacao ceremony.
Can never go wrong.
Can never go wrong. Into the evenings with ecstatic dance.
Yes, that's it. A lot of the time cacao is used in not just ceremonies, but events, dance, anything where it's social, because it makes us feel really present, makes us feel connected to ourselves and toward each other. So it's a beautiful drink to have for taste, for experience, for social gathering. It just
For
always
sisterhood.
goes. For sisterhood.
Oh,
It just always goes. So shall we start?
Yes. So if you have the Quest for Zest book, we're going to be going off of the recipe here, and you can purchase this on Amazon. Just Google Quest for Zest Thailand and it'll come right up. It's newly launched, so get your copy. And yeah, let's get started. We'll walk through different tips, tricks.
Yep. We'll talk
what
you through it as we go, step by
Exactly.
step. So if you're watching now, you can just kind of get a feel for it. If you are on replay, I jumped out of Cameron's life.
We've got two cameras going here, so this is a funny experiment.
Technical skills to practice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so and if you're watching on replay, then it means that you can just make it with us as you go.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so first to start is you'll need whatever pot, cauldron, witchy cauldron that you're using. And we'll go ahead and add the liquid. I like to do that first because then the chocolate and everything just settles in. So we'll be making a portion for 2 ceremonial cacao cups.
Yeah, so you can count that for 2 people and or some for later, because I find that especially with thick cacao, if you put it in the fridge and let it sit, it literally does become a dessert afterwards. So
yes, and also I've got on my blog a ceremonial cacao smoothie bowl recipe that's amazing. So you can make that extra cup of cacao, put it in the fridge, and then make smoothie bowl with it where you pour it in, blend with frozen bananas, and this is how I love to start my day. Like mix cacao and
and nutritious fruits to wake up. Hi, Fina.
Yes.
Sending us hearts.
Oh, hello, sister.
Hello to everyone coming and going.
Yes, we've got some waves here as well. So leave comments, ask questions as we go. Let us know if you're cooking with us.
Yes, feel free. Any questions about cacao, about the experience of it as we come to prepare it.
Yes, so to prepare, let's start with our liquid first. Coconut milk, we're doing a cup of coconut milk. And this you can use homemade coconut milk. Again, there's recipes that I have on my blog, roottorise.online. You can buy store-bought here. It's 100% coconut milk, but always read ingredients. If you're purchasing store-bought, look for minimal reduced chemicals, additives.
You can use oat milk, you can use almond milk, any kind of milk that you enjoy for yourself. It is recommended that you don't actually have cacao with dairy. The reason for this being is kind of a conversation of its own, depending on whether you're vegan or not. But even if you are not, it just means that cacao is said to be kind of still having these qualities of like a living plant. It is going to really have this raw living experience, whereas dairy can contradict that. So it is also recommended in traditional cacao recipes to not use milk at all, or to at least not use dairy milk.
Awesome. Let's keep it all plant power here. Yes. All right. So then we'll add a little bit of water as well.
And this depends on how thick you want the cacao to be. So if you want to make a delicious thick elixir, add less water. And if you want to make it more liquidy to drink for a longer time, I like to do this, just make a big mug so it lasts forever.
Then sip it all throughout the day, put it in your thermos.
Oh, I just love starting my morning just sitting and sipping. The bigger the cup, the better.
I love it. All right, so we've talked a little bit of, we've talked plant milk, we've added a little bit of water. Now we'll add our cacao powder, cacao paste.
Yes. Now let's talk, while Cameron puts it in, I'll just talk about how much you want to put. And Cameron has put this in her book as well. So she put, like, if you are in the States, then this would be, oh no, you put grams. Yeah, 40 grams of cacao paste. That is a ceremonial dose, which is what we're making today. And it is quite strong, especially if the 40 grams is pure ceremonial cacao paste. So that's gonna get you high. Let's just put it that way.
And this block of amazingness.
If only you could smell it.
And we're sourcing our cacao from Deli Devi, a plant-based cafe here on the island.
Who also make amazing cacao. So yes, if you are having 40 grams, then prepare to feel really awake, really energized and activated from it. And if you are making this regularly for yourself, you can add less. 20 grams is considered to be more of a meditation dose. 40 grams is a ceremonial dose. So we are going for ceremony today.
We're going ceremony. So for two, it will be like 100?
I think more like 80 grams for 2 people.
I was gonna get us really crazy, really
100.
really high on cacao, take it to the max. Okay.
We have to post live documentation of how we're feeling.
We'd be buzzing, like running around the island. Okay, maybe
I
this is free hugs. Okay, so maybe this is more like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just to give reference, does it come up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. You can take it.
Ooh, yeah. This is for reference of what it looks like if you are using a paste. And it doesn't have to be exact. If you're using like spoonful, I add, for example, 3 tablespoons of raw cacao powder into my morning tonic that I make. And
I love that morning tonic.
yes, I add lots of other different herbs into it, depending on what it is that you are wanting and looking for. But I think today we're making a more traditional, let's call it the original cacao recipe. That you can
the OC. Original cacao. All right, so a little tip here for cutting. If you can see, we're just gonna shave the block into smaller pieces. This will help with the melting process.
As it melts away.
Yeah. So just using sharp knife and just shaving it off.
And if your cacao is in the fridge, you might want to take it out a little bit sooner so that the block begins to melt a little bit. Otherwise, you can just keep it in a shady spot. Just don't keep it in the heat, but I think that's obvious.
You don't want your medicine to melt.
You don't want it to make itself.
Alright, so we've added now our cacao powder, and there for like each person, even if you're making a big pot or something, I do about like one-ish tablespoons of powder per serving.
Yeah.
On top of the ceremonial dose of the
Can't go
cacao
wrong.
block.
Can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong. So then for sweetener, there's the different options because as we discussed earlier, the paste is bitter because this is raw and just plant medicine. It's not a Hershey's bar or Cadbury. So we're gonna sweeten it today with dates.
And this is amazing. It adds real thickness to the cacao when it's blended well and adds wholesome, natural sweetness. That is also plant-based.
Plant-based, and other alternatives could be maple syrup or honey, and maybe that you'd put in during the blending process. Maybe it doesn't need to be heated.
Yeah, but with dates, I love it because it adds extra thickness to the cacao, and it is my favorite way to sweeten it as well.
I love the dates as well. So we're using 4 dates. That's 2 per person.
About 2 per person, but that is also down to your preference. The sweeter, the more you feel like you are having a delicious dessert.
Yes. So again, depending on your sweetness, a lot of like cacao bars, like restaurants and cafes, they'll have like 70% cacao, 85, 90%. They'll base it this way. And then that's depending on the sweetness level.
Yes, and also the strength, I suppose. And you pop that in with it, so you should have chunks of dates and chunks of cacao now.
And we're cutting the dates small, but after we do the cooking process, infusing it with all of our love, then we're gonna blend it, and this helps like aerate it, and we'll blend the remaining date chunks, make it just sweetness infused. So next part is my favorite, all the different spices. And this is where we really get to do our culinary confidence. You have the direct recipe in the Quest for Zest Thailand cookbook, but I say we just play a little bit today with what we have.
Yeah, you can essentially add in anything that you enjoy. And we have prepared things that we personally love and options to show you. And that's something that I love about cacao, which again is like a whole other topic of its own, is that you can add in all sorts of different herbs, which is amazing because cacao becomes a carrier for these different herbs and making herbal infusions with cacao, and it all just tastes amazing. So today we're gonna go with,
I think let's do a little bit warming spices. So like cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves. But also we can talk a little bit about chili. I know this helps activate
That's
cacao.
like a South American recipe. Chili, that's like a traditional way to give it a kick.
A little zing.
And I feel like this with kind of autumnal spices is perfect for right now because we're coming into autumn season for many of us. So you can make one that tastes like a Christmas morning.
Oh, yum. It's still hot here. We're in our tank tops, but it's fall.
I can always take chai spices.
Yes. So we'll do some warming spices and maybe also a little fresh ginger.
I love ginger.
Awesome.
It also means that you get your morning boost if you're having it in the morning of ginger, and that in itself also helps with circulation, waking you up, giving you the health benefits of ginger within your cacao.
This is like seriously with all the ingredients and the anti-inflammation of the spices, the ginger, it's your medicine.
Yes, absolutely.
Doctor's orders, drink your cup of cacao.
Have your chocolate in the morning, but know what kind of chocolate it is, and you will never have to feel guilty about it again.
Right. This is why ingredients so important. Why I really stress sourcing the ingredients, and then it's guilt-free.
Absolutely, like every morning, and it does come with so many benefits for health and well-being, both spiritual and physical.
Yes, mind, body, spirit.
That's it.
All right, so let's throw in our spices so we can put it on the stove. We'll do half a teaspoon nutmeg. Get some warming nutmeg and cinnamon.
I wish there was a feature where smells could travel. And
Virtual
you could smell
smells.
everything.
We'll
Because
do
I'm getting
cinnamon. This is blended fresh from whole cinnamon sticks. here in the kitchen.
Did you blend it?
Mm-hmm. Simple, just put whole cinnamon sticks in the blender and you can make your own powder.
And it smells super fresh.
So fresh.
And there is a difference with all of these. There really is. You might have experienced for yourself. One thing that I noticed whenever I have ceremonial cacao is like the rainbow bubbles on top. Did you ever see this once it's finished? There's like the little bubbles of the cacao and it looks like there's a rainbow effect because it's just so rich, and maybe we'll have it and maybe we can show it.
Yeah.
But it's just so beautiful, and we use wholesome, high quality ingredients.
And who doesn't want sparkly rainbow magic? Alright, so this is allspice. Again, you can use cloves or other warming spices, and we'll just add that in.
Beautiful autumnal recipe.
Alright, we've done those. Maybe some chili. I'll let you be in charge of the spice.
Okay, so here's the thing with chili. If you like to have a bit of a kick in your cacao, or if you want to follow a more of a traditional South American Mayan recipe, they would add chili to their cacao. So this is something you can try for yourself if you are interested. It can help to bring out the flavors, but also does give it a little bit of a kick. And I won't add a lot.
Okay, just a little bit.
I'm gonna add like a pinch.
Yeah, a pinch. It's like a fourth a teaspoon of chili.
Thank you for translating.
Yes, I've got my perception of measurements. Good. Alright, so we've also grated a little ginger. I love this fresh, and then again when you blend it into the cacao, it's really nice and little zing.
I love adding ginger always, especially if you have a blender that blends it well enough, then the flavor is going to be enhanced and you get all of the benefits of ginger. It is so recommended to have ginger for your immune system, to boost it, and what better way than to just blend it in your cacao.
Especially now entering the colder seasons, you want to boost your immunity, and
it can give that warming effect with the chai spices, with the ginger. You're gonna have a cup of hug. a cup of a hug.
Sipping smiles. All right, so we're adding in about a tablespoon of freshly grated ginger. All right, I think that's pretty good. We've got some other fun toppings, but I kind of like them as decoration. We've got some fresh lavender.
And I have some beautiful flowers here that we can also use. Rose, that can also be ingested. Lavender, these are all edible flowers, you could say. Lavender, rose, jasmine, and you can sprinkle the petals on top as we will. Makes it look even more beautiful.
Super feminine for our sister cacao.
Exactly. And it is also for me such a part of it, not only to make the cacao, but to make it an experience. Not just while you consume it, but also while we make it. So this kind of decorative aspect can make it feel so nourishing already, and make it feel very like a feminine, flowy morning, if that's how you start your day, or just a beautiful ritual that we can do for ourselves as a form of self-care.
The little bit of extra mindfulness or gratitude around it. As you can see, when you're making it, you put a lot of effort and thought into what each ingredient is bringing you to your health, and then sipping it and adding the rose petals and stuff like this. It's not just your grab and go coffee and you're drinking it to sustain, you can bring a lot of mindfulness and awareness around to it, and how it connects you again to yourself, to others, and back to Mother Earth, our planet, and the land that grew it.
Yeah, absolutely. Plant medicine. Our ancestors believed that the cacao, it has a spirit, and that they believe that other plants have spirits. Some more noticeable and some very obvious in the plant kingdom, in the medicinal plant realms, but cacao certainly as well. And to respect and honor that, and to respect and honor this kind of tradition that our ancestors used to carry out and have sustained for such a long period of time, it can be really beautiful to acknowledge that and to kind of keep that in mind as we drink this, and it brings a lot of gratitude.
We are cacao lovers. Thank you. Thank you, Pachamama. All right, so let's get this brewing, and
let's warm it up.
How should we do our video footage here?
Think have a stove next to us. So
Yeah.
you know we're cooking.
Yeah, alright, so we've got our
you can stir
stove
with a
going.
wooden spoon. It is recommended just so that I know, like, sometimes, well, I think that's just kitchen ethics to not use the metal on metal.
Mhm. And wood is also like earthy, so yeah, just mindful around the whole process of preparing your cacao.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody also for joining here. You two
Hi,
loves.
Roberta.
Hello.
We have other sisters joining from the islands.
So we've got island sisters joining. I think people from all over the world. Let us know where you're coming from.
This is amazing. I know, right? Because I grew up in Hungary and England. You grew up in the States and traveling. You actually studied in England for a bit.
I did.
Yeah, so I think that between the two of us, we have people from across the world, which is so amazing.
Yeah.
That we get to connect and that we get to do this together from so many places, which otherwise wouldn't quite be possible.
Yeah, and cacao is something I feel like so universal and just connects like universal spirit all over, It's South American, Asian culture as well, and yeah, it's just such a beautiful plant. Oh, I wish we had a cacao pod to show you.
I should have brought my cacao. I should have brought my babies.
Your cacao bean babies.
If you go on my page, you will see the cacao beans, and in fact, I think I have spoken about the cacao beans and how they look in the process, so you can go and check my page for more cacao-infused content. Hello.
Yes, Miss Wildflower Witch.
So we have somebody here from Spain. We have somebody from Stamford in England.
We've got Australia. Hello.
Oh, wow. This is so nice.
So much fun. Beautiful.
I just wish, I always imagine whenever we go live or have an interaction with people online, it's like, wow, what would it be like if we were really all in one room right now? And
this
that
would
gets
be powerful cacao ceremony,
Yes.
really.
And that gets to be possible online.
Yeah, because beautiful cacao ceremonies. You've also got your online ceremonies,
Yes.
offerings, and goes live doing cacao where you can make your own. Now you've got all the tips and tricks to make a beautiful cup yourself and sit in ceremony with people from around the world.
Exactly.
Drop into yourself. It's like a meditation.
Yes, I offer it one-to-one, which is a beautiful way to get to connect with cacao on a much deeper level, understanding what it means to sit in cacao ceremony. And then we go into different rituals that you can do for yourself, different feminine rituals and practices that you can do with the help of cacao, so that you find a way to relate to cacao. Once you have it and once you consume it, it really becomes a relationship. So you can go on my page, you will see that I host these one-to-one cacao ceremonies online and in person, and it is truly my passion.
Yes, beautiful. I love it here. There's so much passion and magic being made here in the kitchen. If you could smell the smells, and we've got Miss Cacao Queen, and I love anything cooking and healthy recipes, connecting mind, body, and spirit through what we consume and eat. So
this has blended together
A whole lot of
so
love.
well already, and it's so thick. I cannot wait to drink it.
it's a nice elixir here. Let's show what magic we've made here in our pot.
Oh, look at that.
Good. Yes.
Oh my god, if only you could smell it.
So it's thick. All the chocolate has
Melted.
completely melted.
I can sense the chunks of dates and ginger, which will be blended, but the consistency is amazingly thick. And
It's so
I
thick.
love that you prefer to make it thick like this. It just makes it even more of a desserty
Yes.
drink to have.
If we had a little bit of coconut whipped cream to put on top, and maybe a little dash of cacao powder.
There's
cacao
no
nibs.
stop. There's no stopping with this.
There's no stopping.
It's
There's
honestly,
more.
this is always something I share with women when we sit in ceremony, and this is kind of like a fun fact that cacao is called Theobroma cacao, and in Latin or Greek, Theo means God and Broma means food. So this is the food of gods. And it just makes so much sense because it's so rich, it's so delicious, it's so high quality, potent, it has so many benefits, and it used to be believed that only the gods, the riches, the people who could afford it could consume cacao. So that is also something that I always count into ceremonies, to be so grateful that we get to receive it and that we get to consume it. It's such a treat.
It's self-love here. You're treating yourself like royalty.
Yes.
All right.
Goddesses.
So when we put it on the stove, you can see it doesn't last. You don't have to keep it there so long. You can simmer, make sure everything's blended. As you stir, be stirring with love and intentions. You can infuse it with what you want to be mindful for, or with gratitude.
Yes, this is a good time to ask yourself simply even just a question: why am I choosing to consume cacao? Because if you infuse it with an intention, it already creates that space for a ceremony with it. You are not just making it for any random reason, but you are already deciding that yes, I am going to take myself into a ritual. Yes, I am going to set aside 10 to 15 minutes of my time, and yes, I will come into a meditative space to consume it. And these small things, as we know, really make a difference.
It's that little bit of pause in your busy day, and
Exactly.
you come out with a delicious treat after.
Which will activate all the pleasure senses in your body if possible.
Yes. All right. So now our last step, we're going to take our delicious pot of gold and be putting this into a blender just to aerate it, blend up our dates.
Be careful with the heat. Make sure that your cacao doesn't explode when it's hot and in the blender. It will obviously create a little bit of heat, so just make sure the lid is on tightly, that you hold the lid. Alternatively, you can blend the cacao before you heat it up, but as long as you're aware of this, it shouldn't be a problem, and it will make it extremely creamy and delicious. Roberta says she can't, she feels so good and cozy watching this, and we're about to feel so good from it too. And thank you for joining us.
One little kitchen tip here as well on consistency. So this is like a thicker consistency. You can make it thick and then adjust the consistency to your preferences as you go. So as you blend it, you can then add a dash more of coconut milk or water if you want it more watery and light. If you're cooking and you see that it's too watery and you want it thicker, you could add more dates, and when you blend it, it'll get thicker. I often don't up the cacao paste. If I want it thicker, I'll add in a little more powder, and this will help thicken it up a little bit if you put in initially too much liquid.
Yes, but also remember that even if it is more liquid, the cacao doesn't become less potent. What you put inside is in there. If it is more liquid, it just means a longer time to consume the cacao, which is actually my preference.
Yeah.
Because I just love to see the bottomless cup.
Exactly. So as you can see, there is no right or wrong ever in the kitchen. It's up to your preferences, and I think we've given you so many great tips and stuff for you to experiment. So also, if you make your cacao, please tag us. We want to see how you're dropping into ceremony and consuming cacao.
Yes, please do, because one thing I love is how beautiful it can look, especially once we show you how to decorate and do the toppings. Here we have the blender ready to go.
All right, so I'm just going to put this on the blender. Again, our cameras are stationary here. If you could see our setup, it's
I'll do
quite...
a blender dance while you blend it.
Here we go. Not on.
Cast your spells. Get ready to reveal the
smoky cauldron here. Amazing.
Wow.
Woo. All right. So I like to use I mean, any cups, but sometimes little ceremonial cups are fun. So these are quite small, but if you have nice pottery cups or teacups, anything that you prefer that makes you more cozy and dropping into yourself.
Exactly.
But this is really, than a shot. You sip it very mindfully.
Top up. Yeah.
Top up, top up, top
Keep
up.
topping up.
More, more, more. All right, so we'll just pour in our little cacao shots. It really is like dessert.
Wow, it looks amazing. Almost like chocolate mousse.
Yes.
I can't wait to drink it.
Wow.
Amazing. Look at them.
Clear our board here a little bit. All right, so now also fun part is decoration.
Decoration time! So here we have some rose and jasmine petals, as I mentioned. This looks beautiful, and you can also drink it as you drink the cacao.
More plants, and we also have some lavender. This smell is so fresh.
It smells amazing. Has a soothing, calming effect.
Yes.
Rose is a very feminine flower that you can add. So what you can do, for example, with rose is if it's in a whole bud, you can just crush it a little bit and sprinkle it on top of your cacao.
Oh.
And it just looks so feminine and so inviting and gives this feeling of really nurturing yourself and really caring for yourself in feminine ways. Same goes with lavender.
Yeah.
Sprinkle
Then we'll
it
just
as
do
you
a little
please.
dash of lavender.
And you can blend these into the cup. It might be a little chunky, but it might also provide nice flavor.
Wow, it's really so beautiful. If you're doing the more South American, was it like influenced and you want extra chili, maybe a couple chili flakes on top, but that will give an extra kick.
A cacao kick.
Yes, you could do cacao nibs on top or coconut
yeah.
whipped cream. Anything, make it special, make it unique. Every cup different. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love it with the pink and so feminine touch.
Yes, and it's kind of this extra step of going an extra mile, which already makes such a difference, I find, when I do any kind of feminine practice or ritual, to spoil yourself, even with the smallest things. But, to go that extra mile, to buy yourself flowers, to buy the finest ingredients, and then to take the time to ritualize it and say, this is from me, from us, to ourselves, really as a form of taking time out of our day to care for ourselves, to open our hearts, to come into connection with our inner world. And I promise, only beautiful things can come out of it.
Yes, it's so much magic. Let's show you what we've made here. Wow. Magic. It's super beautiful here with our rose petals. We'll have some photos coming as well.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yay.
To sisterhood, collaboration, to your cookbook, to my ceremonies, and to all of you amazing people who are going to make this recipe.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us, and may it keep our hearts open. May all beings be happy and healthy.
May it activate you and all of the pleasure sensations in your body, and may you develop a loving relationship with this beautiful plant medicine, hopefully with the help of this recipe.
Yeah!
Yes!
Cheers, sisters!
Cheers.
Thank you.
And now?
And now we drink.
Wow.
Dessert. Wow, I love the spices.
With the spices.
So warming.
It's so good with the spices.
I think we did extra amazing this time.
Mm.
All the extra help and love from you all. Cheers!
Cheers!
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Like we said, here we go. Thank you for sharing. You are so welcome. And thank you again again for being here or maybe on replay. If you do make a ceremonial cacao recipe, do tag both of us. Let us know. Show us. It's a part of it to see your creation, to share your creation proudly. We will love to see.
Yes, so tag at Wildflower Witch and at Root to Rise.
Share on your stories and make a post. Inspire other people to make cacao, to love cacao as much as we do.
Yes, so definitely tag us both. Show us your creations. Check out web pages. Subscribe newsletter. Grab your Quest for Zest cookbook. Yay! And you'll find the recipe as well as 50 other plant-based Thai food recipes to boost your mind, body, spirit health. So you can find that on Amazon, Quest for Zest Thailand.
Go and check it out. And if you're inspired by cacao, then come and join me for ceremony.
Yes, please drop into ceremony, everybody. It's amazing.
Come and join me online. I'll guide you through the ceremonial cacao experience and your female inner cycles and how to connect with your femininity, not only the heart but also the womb. And feel free to ask away any questions.
Yes.
Send us a message. Let's connect.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
See you next time.